Did we drink during this?
No, but I tell you, this is the secret to the question because now your brain isn't formulating.
Yeah, you're right. It's crazy.
Hi, I'm David Voorhees, host of Running Hot, where you get 6 questions, progressively hotter wings, progressively hotter questions. I've got Jeff Pelaccio, host of The Corporate Couch, marketing maven, adjunct professor, et cetera, et cetera. So excited to have you on the show.
Yeah, David, thanks for inviting me. I haven't seen this many bright lights since I got interrogated by the FBI recently, but excited to eat some wings.
Okay, well that cat's now out of the bag, so we can't put that one back in. So why don't we get started? Like everybody knows, we're going to do 6 wings. The 6th is optional. I'm not going to explain to you what that is yet. I do want to build up a little bit of angst, but if you are able to accomplish the 6th wing, it's $1,000 to the charity of your choice. So just a little dab on the plate. Bravado Spice Company, creamy herb and jalapeno. This is mild, so really just start out with a post-lunch snack. So have fun.
Excellent.
When you're done, you can put the cap on.
A little more than a dab there.
That's
but,
okay. Well, this stuff's good.
I'm nervous. I'm shaking.
That's right. That's right. So just put a little bit on and have a bite. I'm hungry today, so I'm going to eat. Pretty good.
Excellent. Yeah.
All right. False sense of security.
Yeah, right.
We also have water and milk. There's only been one guest to ever drink the milk, so now the seal has been broken. Feel free. Okay. Brought to us by our sponsors, NavMD.
Companies are frustrated with the spicy costs for health benefits. Most C-suite executives believe that benefits costs are way too spicy and feel that the number 2 expense on their P&L is running hot. With NavMD, we help you win business, lower costs, and save time. Join us on our mission to revolutionize health benefits, one plan at a time.
So let's get started with our first question. Spent a lot of years in and around marketing operations. Marketing is a vast discipline. So, what do you enjoy most about marketing, and what do you think you are able to, offer as a special skill?
Yeah, I mean, I love, it's all about the customer, and I think today's marketing is really about culture of the company all the way down to how you treat your customers. So I think the important thing is you have to look at everything from the customer's perspective. It's not like businesses in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Really, the customer controls the process today. They're the decision makers. They have access to more information than any generation in history. So I think it's just about understanding the customer's perspective, being authentic, and building a trust so you can serve that customer the best. And not everyone's your customer, but I think you have to build a niche to serve the customers you want to serve.
So, pun intended, what was your special sauce in that marketing field?
I think for me, I love the technology aspect. So in the old days when you went to your local store owned by a family, they all knew your name, they knew your family's name, when your birthday was, your dog's name. And, when you're having, customers of a company that you have 100 customers or 200 or 1,000 or, whatever it is, technology allowed you to have the information on each customer to personalize, and not to get into the Big Brother thing, but just to be able to personalize and build trust around that, not, trying to, abuse them or take advantage of them because you had information on them.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, that was false sense of security. While we're getting into number 2, how are you feeling about the Yankee season coming up?
I'm an eternal optimist. Spring training is when everybody has, grandiose plans to get into the World Series. So, I think the Yankees always have a great shot. We have not won we, like I'm part of the team, since 2009. So we're
due.
We're due. We share that love of the Yankees, which is nice.
And people like to remind me, because I live in the Midwest and I'm a Yankees fan. I'm also a Royals fan, our hometown team. But they like to remind me that the Royals have won a World Series.
Yes, in 2015.
More recent.
Yes, yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So second one, Bravado Spice Company, Serrano and Basil. We're stepping up to medium. These are some really good sauces. I'll tell you, the next couple of them, I don't need to put the lid on.
Yeah.
The next couple of them have a very strong vinegar base, which I tend to think really is a good flavor when you're talking about wings. So
Okay, excellent. Very good.
So, now we're into wing 2, different flavor point of view. What do you think about the flavor? Feeling any tingle yet?
A little bit, not too bad.
Okay.
The first one was, as I said, it was creamier, which was nice, and green sauce. This one, had a little bit more of a kick. And I can definitely taste the vinegar.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good, though.
Awesome. Okay. So, working in marketing for years, and then transitioned a little bit into, speaking as an adjunct professor at the University of Kansas, Rock Chalk. We'll get into some things that you're doing now, but when you think about being a professor and educating people, how do you transition from being a doer to now an educator?
Yeah, I think it's part of giving back, and I always considered myself a teacher. In marketing and sales operations. Led some training initiatives. So, I think it's what I try to tell the students. They're mainly seniors, the classes I taught. It's about getting a job, and so while teaching the curriculum, I also said, this is the way you need to look at getting a job. Things you need to do now. Think of how you can help people, research companies, be prepared. So I try to incorporate like real life scenario into the curriculum. I was teaching a sales leadership class, so it was actually nice from a perspective of, because we talked about job descriptions of a salesperson and, interviewing and things like that. So it was a good transition to help them in terms of their career journey and beginning that career journey. So it's just fun to help people with your experience, and that's what I enjoyed.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm a proponent of education, but I don't have a dog in the fight whether you go to school or don't go to school.
Yeah.
But I do think the classes that are real-world applicable are the ones that really help put people in the position to be successful right out of the gate versus, meandering around and trying to figure out how to be a productive adult when you took classes that maybe didn't have real-world applicability.
Yeah, and I think part of it, for me, my strength, I wasn't a full-time professor. I literally had not taught till KU contacted me for a long time. So my, hopefully, gift to them was I came out, literally right out of corporate America, or I was still in corporate America, and I could give them real-world experience in terms of, how to get a job, what a sales process is, how do you build a incentive comp plan. So I think that was hopefully what they got out of, the 15, 16 weeks with me.
Well, I haven't heard anything otherwise, so that's positive. That's positive. I think you're reviewed as a 5.0 on Teacher Star.
Oh, well,
so,
there you go. Although they have not asked me back for another semester.
Well, the reason that happened is because you just let everyone know that you're wanted by the FBI. That has something to do with usually being employable by a public entity.
Yes, the state of Kansas.
All right, so speaking of the University of Kansas, we're moving on to Crimson Hot Sauce. This one is still in the medium area. I love that you're reading this because you're going to get ahead of yourself, and this is going to be really fun. So let's dive into wing number 3.
I'm looking at how many peppers. So this is 3 out of 5 peppers.
3 out of 5, and you'll start to notice that the consistency will start changing. These are a little bit lighter, but as you get heavier in the spice department, they'll get thicker.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Number 3. Of course, this is fun for me. I get to relive my competitive eating years basically on a monthly basis. So,
what's your record in competitive eating? What are you known for?
It's spice. I am not a quantity person. I've tried. There's a restaurant in Topeka called Speck Burger, and they have a burger the size of a pizza pan, and then also a pizza pan full of French fries. Now, usually when you have things that are of quantity, they're not always the most tasteful. I mean, they're never bad, but they're not anything you'd go to travel to eat because it tastes like a gourmet meal. I'll be honest, this burger's great. I mean, I'd go there just to have a burger with you. You can drink beer out of the can and play Kansas Keno while you wait and fill yourself with so much food. I've tried it twice.
Love it.
I've failed twice, but quantities are not my thing. It's always been spice, so whether it be Thai food, barbecue, sushi challenges. I mean, there's a lot of things. The wasabi thing is not smart in my opinion. That's not true heat. That's horseradish, and what you're doing is it's like basically eating smelling salts, and I'm not into that. But teach their own, right? All right, so let's get into question 3. As I introduced you, the host of the Corporate Couch, I was a guest. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you were great.
I found it interesting, and maybe it was a little bit of the psychology of naming it the Corporate Couch, but felt more open to answer questions about my past and probably got into more things than I really had much on different shows I've been on. So how did you come up with the idea and get into the Corporate Couch?
Yeah, I had the idea back in probably 2017. I had worked for so many different companies, from 4 employees, 16 employees, to over 1 million, and everything in between, about probably 12, 13 companies. And I saw really shitty leadership. Hopefully we can swear on this.
Oh, yeah. Shit, just to make it safe. Okay, you're good. We're clear.
And really great leadership. So I wanted to really highlight great leaders and their career journey, because everybody sees people as they are today, and you look like you've had a great career, true captive founder, CEO, but you were in college for a little bit, right? So you're trying to find yourself. So people have different career journeys, and you're not going to know when you graduate from KU or Mizzou or any Manhattan College in the Bronx. Go Jaspers, what you want to do at 22 years old. So you're going to have a whole journey, and it's okay not to know. So, and as well as imparting great leadership advice. So, my goal was to kind of combine Dilbert and Howard Stern. I don't know if I did that, but I think it's been really fun and for me. So about 70 episodes in, and about 13 months in. So it's been real fun.
So what are some of the most interesting guests you've had, or maybe a couple areas that stood out, that you've had some awesome people on? I'm sure there have been a couple of bloopers, or a couple of things where you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that you did that. Any of those stick out?
Mackie Musavi, who a brilliant person. She has a master's in genetic counseling, 2 patents, worked at Cerner, is now as an executive coach, wrote a great book about career journeys. She threw out the most swear words and F-bombs of any episode, so that was fun. I just published this week ex-Mayor Sly James, and I'm telling you, this guy is he's the real deal, and he's a phenomenal person. I mean, I if I could go have a cup of coffee with him or a beer and he cold right now, I would have to leave, because that's how good he is. He does the right thing for people. I've had about 3 guests that should have died on 9/11. Wow. 2 that should have been in the World Trade Center, 1 at the Pentagon. So that has been interesting from just telling their stories. trying to remember. Mary Mesmer was on. She's an ex-Cerner and now does coaching and training, and really, she's a not-for-profit executive director for. I'm forgetting the name, but she had a funny story about being a KU, not deciding what she wanted to be, and taking a journey of probably more than 4 years and partying too much. So that was fun. Sorry, Mary, but
don't apologize. I mean, the University of Kansas is a great school of high academic standards and equally high partying capabilities.
Yeah.
So
Our friend who introduced us, Scott Havens, he said he made a 3-year program into a 5-year program.
I think that's him being even a little bit more. Some revisionist history is there. He might have been there a little bit longer, but I will tell you, he is nothing short of a magician. I mean, he's a phenomenal professional.
100%.
So, I would say that, as you think about what you've talked to people about the corporate couch, and if there's anything that I think is imparting wisdom, because I've gone through this journey myself, is becoming a lifelong learner, and that means not resisting against learning from people that have done it before you. There's always this natural feeling when you're younger to want to pave your own way and push against it, and you don't understand me. I'm going to do this. And some of it you should, ingenuity and being to be able to creative because you've got a different impression. But if there could be that point where you just said, okay, 75% of what I'm doing is awesome, but Jeff has 25% that if I just listened either by what he's doing or not doing, I could short step getting to something that I want to much faster. I think that's like the biggest thing. I mean, there's also tutelage, but it's just being that learner and listening to other people.
Yeah, I would say I haven't done a quantitative analysis about it, but I mean, Sly James, a lifelong learner. I say a lot of the great leaders, that's affecting me already, are just lifelong learners,
right.
And they have curiosity, and they put their ego aside, because you have to be a great leader. To be a great leader, you have to put your ego aside.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's jump into number 4.
Number 4, Quattro.
So this is the first time I have not eaten beforehand, so I'm hungry. And as much as I'm enjoying our conversation, let's get to the next wing.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go. Okay, Bravado Spice Company. Now, as you're reading, I hope we're able to see his face because his eyes are going to get bigger and bigger. This is Black Garlic Carolina Reaper. We've now graduated into Super Hot. Okay? So, still going to have a vinegar base, still going to have some really good flavor characteristics.
Can we cue up Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear the Reaper? Maybe?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we do that?
Absolutely. Morgan's in the room. She does all of our post-production. She'll be able to help us out. Mm-hmm. That should have given you a
little kick there, no doubt about it.
Yeah? Okay. Well, you got water, milk. When you say little kick, is there a deep tingle, mid tingle? What do you think?
Well, I think sometimes you get a delayed kick. It gets hot after a couple bites. Mm-hmm. This one, immediately, first bite, you got a kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that you've taken none of my advice and you're going straight for the wings, but that's okay. we're now both going to be charged with these, but we'll be good. I'm fine. I was doing that for your benefit, but now we're good. We're on the downhill. So, mistakes, in my opinion, if you learn from them, are some of the most powerful pieces of education we can have as a human, as a professional, you name it, partner, spouse, parent, colleague, customer. So we all have 2 to 3 mistakes just plugged in that we've had in our past and that educational moment. So maybe share one of those mistakes and why was it such a learning, powerful moment for you?
Yes. You started your career, I believe, at Sprint. And, I had some formative years there and in the early days of long distance when we had cords on phones and things like that. But, one mistake. So I went from IT to marketing. And I was basically starting the consumer marketing, database marketing, CRM, analytical team. It was just me. So I was learning everything about marketing, and so we had to do send out something that the government, some compliance thing to all our phone card customers. And they said, all active customers. So there was a status code that we pulled, all active customers. It was like 7 million letters we had to send out. I didn't know any. Looks good to me. Active status, checked. So we mailed it, and boxes and boxes of undeliverable mail are coming to 8140 Ward Parkway, the long distance headquarters at the time.
How much were the stamps?
Yeah, at that time, I have no idea.
23 to 28 cents,
probably, yeah, 28, 31.
I was doing the math.
Yeah, I have no idea. It was 1990 or 91.
Okay.
What I learned, so the problem was Sprint, just like, again, dating myself, well, AOL used to send out discs so you can just sign up for AOL with a modem, and they would mail it. You can get them at your grocery store for free. So Sprint used to just mail out phone cards to people. Well, those went out, and they were active status, but they weren't activated. So technically, I did exactly what they told me to do, and my team did, but I learned to ask more questions and do, kind of like normalcy tests, I guess, or
poke holes.
Yeah, it's like, is 7 million the right number when we only have like 2 million customers? Probably should have asked that question. So I learned to ask more questions, be better in terms of checking the output, quality assurance, that type of thing. So it was a hard lesson to learn, and everybody blamed me, so that was good.
All right, so we've made it through 4. Now we're getting to the end of the questions that you paid to be here for. The last one is the one where I pay you to be here, basically.
Oh, wow.
So this is the last of the freebies. Staying with Bravado Spice Company, garlic and arrobo, Maruga Scorpion.
Oh, wow.
Still super hot. But what I want you to recognize here, make some room. You've put them together.
You're so neat on your.
That's right.
Yeah, your dabs.
Notice the thickness there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to separate that just so I start to become like you.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
a little much there, huh?
No.
More than you did.
I think yeah. So we're into the drummies. That's all we have left.
And why should we have started with just the...
Well, you should have gone drummies because you wouldn't have any on your lips. The wingies, the little wings have, this is easier to contain.
That's why you're the host and I'm just a guest.
Mm-hmm. So good. I think this one has a little bit of a delayed kick, and then it's a different type of heat.
Yeah, definitely a delay, but it definitely kicks in.
Yeah, I mean, all of them are great. The last one's even good. I'm just excited to get you to question 5. So, still feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot the verbal disclaimer at the very beginning that you're doing this of your own free will, but too late.
I
now.
did have to sign a bunch of paperwork, so I'm good.
That's right. So if you think about all the various roles that you've held, ascended through business, again, being a college professor, starting your own podcast, think about some of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome professionally. What are the steps you took to overcome them, and how were you able to ultimately overcome them?
Wow. I love that question. I think, initially, some people would think this is hard to believe, but I was very introverted around people I didn't know. So when I started my corporate career at AT&T, I think it was my third boss was Nancy Sadler, and we had a big meeting. I was probably about 25 at the time, and the regional vice president was there, and I asked 0 questions. And she took me aside in her office after that. She goes, I believe you have high potential. A lot of other people believe you have high potential. You need to ask questions. You need to be more visible. And I had to get out of my comfort zone to do that. Again, people I was close to, I made jokes and, did crazy things, but I had to get out of my shell. So I think that was definitely one of them. So I don't know if you want another example, but that to me, around 25, and I've actually been thinking about Nancy Sadler because I had a guest on my podcast that has a ritual where you thank somebody that did something for you a long time ago and write them a thank you note. So she's been on my mind lately because I've been planning to do that.
That's awesome. No, I mean, when I started True Captive, one of the first things I did is there were a couple leaders that stood out to me from my past that really made an impact, not because they necessarily helped me do anything individually. They told me stuff that was hard for me to hear, and they had the courage to do it. And that was really impactful. And I took them to lunch, and I thanked them very much for what they said to me. And they were shocked. They're like, I didn't know I had that kind of impact. And that, to me, is a leadership characteristic. Yeah. It was not taking credit for something you didn't know. You just were doing what you were good at, trying to help someone else elevate their career. And the byproduct was someone remembered you years ago, like you're talking about Nancy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that as you move through the different levels of business, you find a lot of CEOs, a lot of leaders are actually introverts that are masquerading as extroverts because you have to. Right. You're cascading leadership messages. You're holding people accountable. You're talking to large groups of people. And a lot of people found it hard, which we share that same characteristic, hard to believe that I am at heart an introvert. Right. I just have had to manifest the extrovert because you can't do anything with multiple people if you're introverted. You need to create that quality. So I find that a lot of leaders happen to be that characteristic.
Yeah, 100%.
So as you can see, he's not formulating things as well as he has been. And that's one of the characteristics of going through this, because the first 4 he was lightning quick, and the 5th one he's like a show fighter, and he's on the ropes. So we're getting to number 6. This is Grinders, called Death Nectar, Skull and Crossbones. You'd asked me a question pre-production about the Scoville units, which means you understand heat. This is 337,000 Scoville.
There you go.
So I'm not going to cuss again, but it's hot. It's very hot.
It's hot.
So, like we mentioned, the 6th one is for charity. So, who are you subjecting yourself to cruel and unusual punishment for?
A great charity started when the person was 17 years old, maybe 18. She's just 19, a sophomore at KU. It's called Eye of an Immigrant. Kamal Kaur is the founder, and they're helping Kansas City immigrants fund their journey to American citizenship. So
it's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
So here we go.
Well, I'm sure they thank you. So as I mentioned, as we get spicier, it gets thicker.
And what's the criteria for me? Just is it one bite and make sure I hold it in?
Yeah, one bite. One bite's good. Go ahead. Clear your path.
I almost forgot to put it on my.
Just and you don't need to lather it. Again, we're not trying to put anybody out of commission here. You shaking?
I can't even put the top back on.
You shaking? So be careful. Get yourself a little bit. Try to avoid your lips. Definitely don't lick them. But here we go. Question number 6.
Okay, I'd rather go back to the FBI interrogation, I think. But
So, what do you think?
oh yeah. Well, it's funny. I was going to mention one time I was at the grocery store, and when I have just Tabasco, I'm just tossing it on. It was a similar. It was a skull and crossbones like this one, and I got it and I put it. I was having wings or something at my house, and I was doing that, and then dipping it. Oh my God! I had to Google what do you do when you eat something too hot, because it was. I mean, you
unbearable.
Yeah, it was so bad.
All right, so you touched your lips and you touched your fingers. I'm telling you right now, don't touch your eyes.
Yes, right.
Don't do that.
Do not take my contact.
Blindlessness would not be good for us.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're testing a new strategy on question 6.
Great.
So we've got a cup. And this cup has different questions in it. So we're going to allow you to pull your question from the cup, and that's question 6.
All right. Do I read it or do you read it?
You can read it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can't even read it.
You want me to read it? Well, yeah, I'll get you.
What's one thing that people are generally surprised to find out about you? Well, I'm not going to use the introvert since I already used that, but maybe I should use that.
You can grab some milk if you need to.
Yeah, I might do the milk. This is only I'm only the second person with the milk.
Yeah, get yourself some milk.
I usually don't drink milk, but
You do that, I'm going back for another wing.
not with the hot sauce though.
I went 5, now I'm going to go 4.
It's always a childproof. Oh, there we go.
I think number 4 is probably my favorite for just every day.
Well, let's see. Surprised about me, I would say. Did we drink during this?
No, but I tell you, this is the secret to the question,
Yeah.
because now your brain isn't formulating.
Yeah, you're right. It's crazy. Most people know I grew up in New York. Most people know I'm a long-suffering Jets fan. It's easy to be a Yankee fan, but Jets are a little harder. But I think a lot of people will be surprised I started my career in IT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
I've just been associated in the marketing and the sales realm for so long. I think, it comes as a surprise when they say, oh, you were in IT, because I'm not give me 12 Red Bulls and, throw me in a closet and start coding. But yeah, I was an application developer back in the day.
So
COBOL for all you, historians out there in the IT world.
I took that in college, and I took it in summer school. Excuse me. And the one thing that I remember about it isn't the language, although I think there are still folks that code in that language because there's a lot of base code.
Yeah, right.
My instructor used the word apropos in every sentence, and at an 8 a.m. class on a Saturday to hear somebody say apropos every time still stands out to this day. I don't remember your name, but I remember apropos. Apropos.
I had a college professor. I was a senior, and it was some operations programming. I don't even know. And he was from North Korea.
Yeah.
And about 6 weeks into the class, I asked one of my colleagues. I should have asked a little earlier, but I go, "What is this pubality thing he keeps talking about?" He was saying probability. Should have asked maybe in week 1. I don't know, but anyhow. Pubality.
Pubality.
So
you heard it here
first.
That's right. Okay, so this is also a new feature. We're going to call this the Wayne Simeon Call Your Guest. So Wayne was on the show last time, and Wayne called out a friend of his, Darren Sproles. A lot of people know him from Olathe North, Kansas State University.
Saw him place twice in the title game, the Kansas title, 6A.
Very storied NFL career. In fact, I think he might lead the NFL in all-purpose yards.
Yeah.
So you can find someone that you really like as you're thinking through names, or
Yeah.
you can find someone that you want cruel and unusual punishment.
Okay.
So this is a call your guest. Who would you recommend to come on the show?
I'm gonna go with Andre Davis
Andre Davis.
Yes.
Okay, Andre Davis. You've been called
because
out.
I don't think he can do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a real call out.
I like it. Now, is there any particular reason why you think he can't do it, or?
No matter how much he works out, I just think he's not going to be able to do it. I don't think he has the mental toughness.
Okay. Well, Jeff, thank you for being on the
David,
show.
thank you.
Appreciate
It was fun. Thank you.
Remember, keep your hands away from your eyes until you go to the restroom and wash your hands. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Running Hot.